Hello, I'm Elif, and this is a recap for episode 51 of the series Golden Boy, 24 hours after Turkey and before dubbed for TV. Kozim and Seiyran take Seiyran away disregarding Golgun's tears and pleas, along with Seiyran's friends. Golgun calls Farid to tell him about the situation, but when Farid tries to help Seiyran, Khalid Khan stops him, saying it's none of their business. Sona gets worried and wants to intervene, but Efegat asks her to stay quiet. Pelin is informed that her former servant is waiting for her in front of the mansion, which terrifies her, and she asks her mother to handle it. The servant tells Golgun that Pelin didn't keep her promise, and while he was away, their daughter was left alone and unprotected. Golgun gives some money to the woman and takes her with her. Despite his grandfather's warnings, Farid escapes as soon as he's alone at home. He goes to the hotel where Kozim's family resides and insists Khadija to contact his acquaintances in Antep to find Kozim's whereabouts. Khadija, knowing who Kozim is asking about, manages to find the address and gives it to Farid. Kozim takes Seiyran to a garden house and tells her, "There's an envelope on the table. Open it and look carefully." Seiyran opens the envelope and sees pictures of Farid and Pelin in different places. Kozim tells Seiyran that after learning about the injustice done to her aunt Khadija, Khalid Khan had forced her into silence for years. Kozim says, "Didn't I tell you not to stay silent? Didn't you want to scream? Now is the time. They've ruined our lives." He apologizes to Seiyran for all these years and asks her to disgrace the Khans in a television program. Seiyran, who has been crying all this time, tells her father she doesn't want any connection with the Khans and refuses to be a part of their game at any cost. Kozim threatens her when he sees Seiyran is not willing to comply with him. Sona constantly calls Seiyran, her family, and Abedin with concern to get news about Seiyran, but nobody answers her calls. Efegat sees her and, noticing Abedin's number in the call list, reproaches her, saying, "You need to watch your behavior, especially when living with a bomb like Abedin." Kaya overhears their conversation and gets angry upon hearing Abedin's name. Zaina takes Pelin's servant to her brother's house and asks her to remain silent like before, but the woman reveals that Pelin has taken the Khan's money and her daughter as a servant. And Pelin doesn't give her any more money. She says she will tell everyone that Pelin sent her daughter to Farid's bed with Pelin's plan. Shamuz, who is very angry, tells her to stay in his house until Pelin gets married, then take her money from Pelin and leave. The woman agrees. Orhan goes to Efegat and tells her they need to distract his father's attention from him and the company and prove that his father cannot make decisions soundly, so they can take his authority away from him. Farid, who has a plan to rescue Seiyran from Kozim, asks for Sona's help, and Sona sneaks out of the mansion in the middle of the night. They head towards the garden house, and Sona, claiming to be Kozim's daughter, enters. Farid and Abedin come out of the back trunk, and at that moment, the sound of gunfire is heard, prompting Kozim to send the guards to investigate the source. Farid and Abedin approach Seiyran and tell her they've come to take her away. When Seiyran realizes Sona is also there, she angrily confronts her, asking by what right she has come there. Seiyran says, "When you returned to that mansion, you lost me." She kicks Sona out, and when Kozim enters the room after Sona leaves, he sees Seiyran is gone and shouts in frustration. Seiyran and Sona embrace each other, and Sona says, "I could hardly believe it." Seiyran accompanies Farid, and Abedin returns Sona to the mansion. On the way, Abedin touches Sona's hand. Sona pulls her hand away with resentment, and both shed tears in silence. Seiyran tells Farid about her father's words, the pictures she saw, and Farid's call log. Farid has nothing to say. When Sona returns to her room, Kaya is awake and waiting for her, demanding an explanation. She says, "Didn't you say you didn't want my husband to be somewhere else at night? What's my wife doing outside in the middle of the night?" She starts hitting herself and screaming, and Sona, shocked, hugs her and calms her down. Farid takes Seiyran to a villa to spend the night there. They start talking and discussing their families, and Seiyran says that no one in the Khan family has any authority except Khalid Khan, and they are all pawns in his game. Farid also recalls Kozim's actions, and Seiyran says, "You might not like my dad, but slowly you were becoming like him." Farid replies, "Now that we're talking about realities, let me tell you. You're exactly like your dad. You're Kozim's daughter." Seiyran raises her hand to hit Farid, but he grabs her hand and says, "Here's the proof." Farid leaves, and Seiyran breaks down in tears. The next morning, Farid wants to stay with Seiyran longer, but Seiyran asks him to return sooner. Farid says, either you separate from me, or I won't marry a woman I don't love. I won't let my child grow up like me. Kaya tells Sona, I know my duties as a husband. You better watch your behavior, or you'll be very upset. Arguments escalate between Seiyran and Farid at the villa, and Farid accuses Seiyran of being self-centered and ignorant. He says, my family welcomed you with open arms. Even my grandfather liked you. Seiyran retorts, obviously, you learned from whom to like. Farid shouts, enough. Have you forgotten who you were? You were a scared, unfortunate girl trembling in front of us. We gave you everything. Seiyran replies, do you know what your only success in life was? Raising the immorality of your family a notch higher. Farid leaves Seiyran alone in the house and walks away, leaving Seiyran with no other choice but to walk along the road. Shortly after, Kozim, who has been informed of Seiyran's whereabouts through Shamuz, follows her and finds her on the road. Seeing her father, Seiyran says, I'll do what you said. They deserve it. I hate them. I want them to suffer a bit. That night, there's a ceremony unveiling a series Farid designed, and the company has spared no expense for the event, and everyone is excited. Seiyran also goes to the recording studio with her father. The ceremony is about to begin when Golgun sees Seiyran on live television and informs Farid, who immediately rushes to the studio. The news spreads at the event, and everyone is busy watching the program. The host introduces Seiyran as the bride of the famous and powerful Korhan family. Seiyran begins her speech by saying, I was forced into marriage with beatings from my father. Kozim, not expecting Seiyran's attack, lunges at her, but he is restrained. Seiyran continues, the true architect of this forced marriage is the pure Korhan. He chose his bride from among the girls gathered in the baths. My sister was supposed to be the bride of the Korhans, but their son wanted me. None of the Korhans objected. Khaliz Khan watches the program on the big screen. The host apologizes to the guests, and everything goes haywire. Seiyran tells everything, reaching the story of Pelin's pregnancy and her residence in the mansion. Everyone is shocked. Farid sees the program on his way and is disturbed. He finally arrives at the studio, and Seiyran, staring at him, says, young girls should think about humanity instead of wealth and appearance when accompanying their partner. Let their love for freedom not be punished. They shouldn't lose their pride and personality. Your silence will be inherited by your children. If you don't stop the first flood, the flood will hit a child's face. Because hatred, like love from person to person and generation to generation, is passed on. Everyone listens to Seiyran's words in amazement and disbelief. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode.